Yeah, I mean, Eifert right now leads the league with 12 TDs. Can break the record, which is 17 held by Gronkowski. And he still has several games, to go. Tyrann Mathieu from Arizona, we knew he was going to be a late pick that year, and the fact that he's transformed himself into a great secondary player in Arizona, that's been great. Again, as you mentioned, Kelsey, early third round pick. Absolutely fantastic with what he's done there. Again, Dobson's carved out a nice career for himself in New England. Again, he's probably the guy considering he's 4 or 5 receivers are now injured, and now he's the man. He's got to step up a little bit. Again, Giovanni Bernard, not terrible. If you look at it, I mean, for what he's done, he's still a backup on a good team. Still pretty good. Sharif Floyd, I mean, this is a guy that you mentioned. I remember a couple of years ago he was going to drop for obvious reasons, and then he's still doing pretty good right now.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I was a little biased when we were talking about him way back because he's a Philadelphia product. Went to one of the public schools in my area, so it's obviously nice to see a kid from this area make it to the NFL. But yeah, I mean, he's carved out a pretty nice career.
Yeah,
he's got more room to go. He's got a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
Also helps that he's a very, very big man. In case you forgot.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. And then, look, later in the draft, Bakari Rambo, again drafted by Washington, now is the starter on the Bills. Safety, but again, he's a starter and he's a 6th round pick, so you never know what's going to happen there. Theo Riddick being the pick for the Lions late in the 6th round, 199.
Yep.
I mean, it's pretty impressive. Obviously, he's not 199 like Tom Brady, but hey, he's carved out a good career for himself, no question about that. It goes to show you, again, the draft, it'll only tell you so much. Again, we have to wait a couple years down the road, and granted, I mean, we still have a long way to go before we see if any of these are going to be even remotely close to, what we think they are in terms of their draft picks, at least in their order. But hey, it's nice to examine at least a couple years down the road. Hey, you can tell these people already have potential, and who doesn't really.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and one other thing from this draft that I just realized. So I'm looking at the notable undrafted players. I see one Pro Bowler. Do you know who that is?
Undrafted.
Yep.
C.J. Anderson?
That's correct.
Wow.
C.J. Anderson, undrafted and a Pro Bowler.
That's right. Wow.
Very interesting.
See, yeah.
I mean, that's...
Okay, let me look out undrafted players. I mean... Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, and then Nickel Roby for Buffalo. He's performed well thus far in a couple of years. He's still on the team. 40, I think, has carved a nice career for himself. A couple of years, bounced around the league. McManus is now a starter in the NFL, drafted by Indianapolis. So yeah, I mean, even if you don't get drafted, it's still, that gives you another chip on your shoulder. And if you go to the right team at the right time, that's what it's all about. It's talent meets opportunity. That's what I've always thought about it.
Oh, that's 100%. It's the same way for sport, obviously. As I mentioned earlier, it's a mixture of fit, mixture of where you're taking, it's a mixture of work ethic. But if you have the opportunity, and the opportunity is something that you can actually extend, i.e., you're let's take the Philadelphia Eagles, for example. You're a back who runs the outside, not the inside, and the team runs the outside, not the inside, you'll probably excel in that. If you're a back who runs the inside, you not excel at that.
Probably not.
I can't tell.
Probably not.
Well, that's a little bit of Marco Murray right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, man. So we're going to take a short break. So let's do some hockey talk. I want to talk about Patrick Kane after the break, all right? And see how good he is. And, of course, I need some hockey talk. I haven't watched hockey in a while. So yeah, I've been consistent with it in the playoffs, but not regular season. So we'll talk about that after the break.
That's understandable. I mean, it's a little bit tough to watch a team play 82 times in the regular season. Playoff hockey is very, very entertaining.
It is. All right, so we're gonna play some more music here. So give it about 3 minutes, and then we'll be right back. So on this YC Sports Show with Sam Throne on Spreaker Radio.
fill all the corners of the universe, pull you down. All the hope in the world is starting to reverse, and you doubt. Don't you know that you shine like an ending sun? You can be anything that you're dreaming of. Like a star, you're electric in heaven's dawn. So come on, let it go, let it go. You are more than words. In your soul, you are beautiful. Don't you know, you are burning through the dark, shining like electric stars. Whoa. More than you'll ever know. You're surreal. Don't believe all the lies that subdue your hope. Just believe. Don't you know that you shine like an ending sun? You can be anything that you're dreaming of. Like a star, you're electric in heaven's dawn. So come on, let it go, you are more than words. In your soul, you are beautiful. Don't you know, you are burning through the dark, shining like electric stars.
And welcome back to the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Stern, coming to you live from Columbus, Ohio. 9:52 out on the East Coast, which means it's 6:52 out on the West Coast. And Portland, Oregon, man, it's still flooding. Out on 405 and 217, it's not good. But luckily, I'm in Columbus for the next couple days. Good mid 40s to 50 degree weather, not that bad. And I'm near Ohio State University, so nice women to look at, I'm not gonna lie. So of course I have my old buddy here, Brett Antosh from the Spicy Sports Show with Sam and Brett, back in the old college days on WWEC 88.3, the sound of Elizabethtown. So Brett, we're gonna talk about some hockey, obviously. Thank you, sir. So obviously hockey talk. The season's been going well. I think there have been a lot of highlights from what I've seen, especially on, again, SportsCenter Top 10. That's where I catch most of my highlights. That being said, I'm just going to look at the standings quickly. I mean, I know Chicago's doing absolutely phenomenal thus far, and a lot of it has to do with Patrick Kane. I think Patrick Kane, to me, again, with the limited hockey knowledge that I have, he's probably the MVP right now. But if you have someone else in mind, who do you think it is?
Yeah, I would say he's probably the MVP. 23-game point streak is really impressive. I'm not gonna lie, that's something that's not done very often. And honestly, he's been, in terms of regular season scoring, he's been pretty hot the past 2 years. He missed an extended period of time towards the end of last season with an injury, which kind of caused him to miss like the last, I believe, 2 months of the regular season. But at the pace he's scoring at right now is about the same as what he was doing last time. I believe part of the reason that he's doing that, if you look at the new line, he's with Artem Anisimov, who came about like 24 years old, who was one of the leading scorers in the Continental Hockey League the past 2 years. Insane skill, just like Patrick Kane, and those two just... It's like two mirror images of each other just playing on the wings right now, and it's terrifying. Chicago's obviously been a very good team for a very long period of time. They have a ton of depth up front, very good defense, so you add a guy on pretty much a league minimum salary, he's under $1 million, I believe, and he's got a lot of skill and creativity with and without the puck, just like Patrick Kane does, and that makes things a little bit easier on Kane. Like I said, he scored a lot last year towards the end, but and a guy who kind of thinks the same way, can do some of the same things. And it might not always work, but in Kane's case, he's just got so much skill that he just makes it work. And Anisimov is a very smart player, very good defensively, so he kind of just sits back and let those two really do most of the heavy lifting offensively, which is good. I mean, part of last year, Kane played as a center, and Kane's more of a scoring player. So as a center, you really got to be defensively responsible, and that's not really his strong suit. So now that he's staying on the wing, he's got another guy who can score like crazy, and the center that is kind of like, okay, you go do your thing, I'll make sure the puck, if it comes out of the zone, it's not going to end up in our net. That just lets him go full throttle, which you can't contain a guy like that over the course of a 60-minute game. He's going to get a chance at some point or another, and with the way he's playing right now, he's going to bury that.
So, Brett, I know that...
That's a very long-winded way to answer your question.
No, I mean, look, it's hockey talk. I miss it, and I need it. So for the rookies, I've been hearing talks that this is probably the most heralded 1-2 rookies in a couple years. Tell me about the rookies, that the top two picks in the draft. I know that they've been, I know one's been injured on and off, and then the other one has been, has had his rookie moments. So tell me about that.
Yeah, Connor McDavid went first overall. He's obviously, he's playing with the Edmonton Oilers. They've had way too many for number one picks. Let's see, it's Hall, Nugent-Hopkins, Yakupov. He was 4 number one picks in the past. It's kind of pathetic when you really think about it. But when you look at the skill that McDavid has, it starts right away with his skating. There's a lot of players who kind of have just one speed. So they'll start their skating, and then it will be like, okay, well, once they get the puck, it's either that same speed or a little bit less. McDavid, I don't know how he developed this, but he's got this extra gear that the second he touches the puck, he's even faster than he normally is. You first noticed it in junior hockey, where he's the best player on the ice and has been for the past 2 years. And you kind of had to wonder, watching the World Junior Classic last year, where he's an 18-year-old playing against 20-year-olds, I had to sit there and wonder, how is he going to translate to the NHL? Because he's basically a man amongst boys right now, to a certain extent. It was a seamless transition, to be perfectly honest. Watching him with and without the puck, it's just like these are NHL guys, whatever, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to take the puck, I'm going to still skate as hard as I can, you're not going to be able to catch me. I have the hands to get right around you. It's very interesting to watch him do what he does with the puck. And obviously, he can make guys around him just look so much better, specifically in the case of a guy like Nail Yakupov, who was a top pick, as I mentioned, but has kind of struggled a bit in his career in Edmonton, and he made Yakupov look like a really, really good player, and that's good. That's what the Edmonton Oilers need if they're going to be successful. On the flip side, you got a guy like Jack Eichel over in Buffalo, who, let's be fair, both these teams, Buffalo and Edmonton, aren't particularly good. Eichel's been kind of floating around in different places in terms of his lines. He's playing a little bit with Evander Kane when he's healthy. He's been playing a little bit with Sam Reinhart. So he's got a little bit of a tougher situation, because I don't know if he has the high-end skill that McDavid has had to play with. On the flip side, he's going from a different environment where Eichel was playing college hockey. He was the best player there, but